Brent Metcalf, world team member at 66 kilos. I think right now I'm really excited about having another opportunity at the World Championships. I made the team in 2010 and I lost first round to a pretty tough guy, but I kind of missed out on a pretty big opportunity there, and it's kind of ate at me for the last 2 years because I was second, 11 and 12 as far as the United States goes. So having this opportunity again is big for me, and I really kind of am embracing the challenge, embracing the opportunity. What I like about being in Colorado Springs for training camp is probably the access to training partners. This camp in particular brings a lot of different people in from colleges, and you get the whole national team together, as well as your 4, 5, 6 guys. It seems like there's always a good group of guys here, and that's good to get different feels, different training partners, whatever it may be. So I think it's a great opportunity to really wrestle a large variety of guys, whether they're in your weight class or whether they're in the weight class above or below.
66, Brent Metcalf, obviously he's tough as nails, one of the toughest guys in the country, wrestles extremely hard, pulls on your head, gets you tired, has a great high crotch, and I think he's going to be a world champ. 74 kilos, we're looking to be back-to-back world champs, me and Brent Metcalf, 66 and 74.
We can all call each other friends, which is, I think that's good for the morale. I think that's good for, you talk about going out and watching one of your teammates wrestle. I mean, when you have energy and emotions invested into that person, I think that helps you compete. Or they're good, if they go on to win, you're excited. If they lose, then you're motivated because you want to make up for that sort of thing. So I think that there's a lot of great things that come out of this camp. The toughest part about having to come out to a training camp like this for 10 days or sometimes 2 weeks is just being away from home and being away from your family and things of that nature. I have a son that's 5 months old now, so being away from him is tough. But it's part of what you do, and when I go over to World Championships, I'm going to have to be away from my son then too, and my wife. So it's just sacrifices you make for being able to have the opportunity to achieve things you want. I don't know. I think probably one thing people don't know is I'm pretty laid back and I'm a pretty goofy guy. I probably don't show it a lot in the wrestling world, and I don't maybe show it on interviews, things like that, because when we're talking about the sport of wrestling, I'm pretty serious about it, because to me, the sport of wrestling is a very serious thing, and there's a right way and a wrong way, and there's not a gray area. So I very intentionally want to, when I speak about it, get my maybe message across, wherever it may be. But I'm a pretty, laid back guy. I'm not maybe as intense as what most people would think off the mat. I laugh. One of my favorite things is just hanging out with buddies in college. I remember just some of the goofy stuff you do, and I have a lot of fun. I really love this sport, and outside of this sport, I really love my life, and I love my family, and I love, everything that I have going right now in life. So I guess that's the only thing that maybe I would say people don't know, is that I'm pretty laid back. I'm pretty chill, and maybe not wired as tight as what most people probably think.
I was introduced to Brent via the college scene when he was at Iowa, and the message boards were blowing up about him. But after I've gotten to know him, he really, the stereotype doesn't fit the man. He's a great guy, and it's fun. He's fun to hang out with.
Sacrifice to me means doing, not doing the things that everyone else gets to do. I think that I wouldn't say not doing things that you want to do, because I think that can hurt you. If in the back of your mind you're eating, I want to go and do X, whatever it is. I think that your mind has to be wired that and you're motivated that X is not going to help you in the sport of wrestling, and this is where you want to be, and that's a different direction of whatever that is. I think that that's what sacrifice is about. It's about your internal motivation to not be, I'll call it, not be like a citizen. You're different. The way that you live your life is different, and on so many levels. On your lifestyle, on obviously your training, the way that you eat, everything. There's a lot of sacrifice in the sport of wrestling, but it's because you want it, and it's because it's towards that goal, and whatever it may be. Maybe a state championship, maybe a regional championship. It doesn't matter. That drive and that motivation to achieve that goal that you have, and then the sacrifices you do. It's huge, and that's really what this sport's all about. That's what's great about this sport, is that a lot of times, the guys that are willing to sacrifice the most, put the most into it, are gonna get their hand raised. You're really helping yourself, because more than any other sport, talent goes a long ways, but your guts and your drive, that can really make a big difference.